so loud they may hear you. Another show, another headache.
Welcome back, my subscribies. Journey of a Confused Artist. Well, what I thought I'd do is something a little bit different. I'd actually walk you through my paintings and tell you the stories behind all the paintings. Because a lot of artists tell you about maybe their techniques and how they actually did it, but the real stories, the trials, the tribulations, there's one painting that I'll tell you about that nearly got my foot right through it. I kid you not. And how sometimes the paintings take a life of their own and guide you. You are not in control, and you'll find that out. And sometimes with some of my art, Mother Nature. So I'm just gonna walk you through. I went traveling around the world with Gail, and I got this the roll canvas. I think I got it from the Works. It was only like about £2, and it was about 3 meters long. This actual painting's 2 meters long. So I started in Italy, in Rome. I went there on my own and met loads of people. I know that these people underneath this arch there, a little alleyway that was going to I think the Spanish Steps, and they were all gathering and partying, and there was this tramp on the side with her balls. The funny thing is, out there, this tramp came up to me asking for money, and I kid you not, he was wearing Louis Vuitton outfit, and I just looked at him and thought, if you're going to be a tramp, wear the appropriate outfit, because Louis Vuitton is a tramp. Anyway, that was quite interesting. And as we move forward a little bit, we get into, I went off to Turkey, and that's where we had our place, and I worked there. Above it, you'll see these little signs, TriStar. And TriStar is their internet, like we have Virgin Media and Sky TV. They have to Thailand. And at the top there, you'll see this little guitar. Sabrina, her name was. It was this music in a bar in Krabi Island in Thailand. And Gail just loved the music, so we had to buy the CD. It was very acoustic music. And below that is obviously the symbol of Chang beer. I love my Chang beer, got to admit. And then next to it is this monkey, this cheeky little monkey. And this monkey, we were at the end of the last bar in Krabi, and I went off snorkeling, and I came back. I had my tobacco there, and this, because there's monkeys there, and they keep saying, do not feed the monkeys, and you could see them stealing people's goods on the beach and then running up the flipping trees with them. I think there was underpants up there that I saw. But they went, and this little cheeky monkey went and ran off with my tobacco. Now I went and ran after it, and it stopped, turned around, rummaged around in the tobacco, and then threw it back at me. Maybe that was saying something. So, and then we moved over to, like I said, seeing my uncle and aunt and cousins and nieces and nephews in Sydney, Australia. And my uncle took me to the Blue Mountains, VB, Victoria Beer, Schooners. It's like 3/4 of a pint of lager, and yet they charge you the same amount. rip-off. But the Three Sisters, now the Three Sisters in the Blue Mountains it's like the Grand Canyon, but the Three Sisters is, the story is, there were these three beautiful sisters, and the local tribe males fell in love with them, and they were feuding, a bit like Romeo and Juliet, that kind of thing. And a shaman, to disguise the sisters and hide them away from the warding tribe, turned them into rocks. And that's why you got the Three Sisters there. That was a weird scenario. And I must admit, I really did enjoy it. And then we went off to see my old mate, Wansei Swen in in Hong Kong. And he took me to Stanley Harbour. Oh, God, that was amazing. But we ate on the streets with the noodle bars. Gail kept saying to me, stop slurping, you sound like a tramp. And I'm like, that's what you're meant to do, flavour enhancing. And what I loved out there was them getting their little pots, and they'd add it, all the meat and the vegetables and the noodles in there, and there'd be X amount of people around, and then they'd have their bowls, and one would go off, and then another person would come along, and someone else, restaurant owner, would come over and put more meat in it, because that person has joined the pot, and they add to the pot, and then they have their bit, and then go off. So it was constantly, and the flavours must have been amazing growing up, and slurping away on the streets there was, one, absolutely bloody freezing at February, but yeah, absolutely amazing. And I got a stamp, handmade stamp, art stamp, in Stanley Harbour by the Chinese guys there. That was absolutely amazing. So that's a little adventure. And then what I actually did is, like I said, it was, I had the canvas out, and I drew all of this as one long tapestry story from the beginning to the end of that little journey. And it's long, unstretched, and yeah, I absolutely adore it. I adore it. On to the next one. That's going to be interesting. This series of paintings is rather quite interesting, actually. I just returned back to the UK from Turkey, living and working in Turkey, and frequented a certain establishment and gathered and stole their free internet. And while I was there in this pub chain, I started drawing and observing people around me. And this particular painting, Girl, Wine, Book, it's sold. Hey, to, I believe, a solicitor in London. It's watercolour on watercolour paper with charcoal as well. I really enjoyed actually painting that. And then I moved on, and there's so many characters that come into these bars and that. And one of them, this young lady, she had such a high pitch, squeaky voice. Bit like Bernadette in The Big Bang Theory, but this was, and it really upset this poor guy that just wanted to read his newspaper and have his beer. And she was right next to him. And the guy couldn't get up and get away. So, and she was squeaking away to her father, I believe. And then the other thing happened. I'm based in Cheltenham, and we have the race course here. And a lot of the Irish come over, and they get very drunk. Celebrate to the crack, as it were. And yeah, I was there. and just drew all that. That one's actually available still. Most of these, the previous one, the squeaky voice, that's sold as well. This one, underhand poker plays, I call it. And there were these group of old geezers that obviously frequent the same place at the same time, and they're all playing card games, and I'm just sat in the background watching them, and I could see the, oh come on, I played poker as well, and they were like, so I deliberately constructed this where every single one of them is stitching the other one up, and it's all underhand. And you know, how can you have that many aces, on the flop? It's just ridiculous. And that's sold as well, so that's another one that's gone. But at the end of the day, that was a collection called Pub Talk. The only one that is still available is the crack one. Celebrate the crack. So if you're interested in that, get in contact with me. This one's an interesting one. It's got a tail behind it that's also got a boot that was going to go through it. Misty Autumn Forest. Now, Misty Autumn Forest, I was working for a particular company, and they had display canvases, pre-printed canvases on the walls, and they were getting rid of them, and I was like, well, I'll have them because I can just emulsion paint over it or paint over it, and that's the idea that I'd come up with. Unfortunately, my acrylic paints would not adhere to the canvas print that would be done. It would be photographic print canvas stretched, and I was getting really upset with it. I took it out into my courtyard. I had all this paint over it, and I was going to take it into the alleyway and put my foot through it, but I just left it out. And in the morning I went out there, and Mother Nature made her mark on it. She rained on it, and I looked at it, because of the acrylic paint and the rain droplets, it made this texture that I was, whoa, absolutely astonishing. Grabbed hold of it and took it back in, and then started working on it. I thought, oh, this is from heaven sent. So yeah, I worked up with it, and you get a little bit of a close-up with one of them, to kind of show you the texture that was there. I mean, nature, bless her, what an absolute amazing addition to that. And this is what I was saying, fear. At the end of the day, I'm just pulling it out and showing it to you. Fear at the end of the day of making mistakes. Like Bob Ross said, we don't make mistakes, we have happy accidents. I could have had an accident with this, with my foot going through it, but Mother Nature stepped in herself with her size 24 and said, no, we're going to carry on. And that is amazing. On to the next one. So now we're in Turkey. Okay, what an experience that was on our travels. I did this painting here, kind of collage. It was at the early days of me creating a kind of technique, I don't know. So it was a kind of mixture of images. We went to Aqua Park, and the seals were there doing their little tricks, and then there was Gale, and it was kind of like a tapestry, just of images and experiences of just being in Turkey, really. But the other one that I find really interesting is lazy Turkish worker. And on our complex, they were doing some construction and such forth. And I just remember this Turkish worker there, and he had a little brick, and he just, quite rightly, heat of the day, sat there, bottle of water next to him, sat on this brick and went to sleep. And I was sitting on my patio and just drew him. The other elements within it are two guys sitting on the beach just chatting to each other. The funny thing is, on the bottom right, it says free table, free chair. And we were in this restaurant, and the waiters came up to us having a little joke with the other cafe across the road, and their signage that said free table, free chairs. And he said, yeah, but we've got even better here. And I said, why? He goes, because we give you a free plate and a free knife and fork. And that's the kind of humour that the Turkish have sometimes, you know. They pick up on it. Free table, free chair, you know. It's just like, and that archway is a very famous archway. Above, there's two windows, is actually the police station, original police station in Kusadasi, Turkey. And obviously below it, you can get a free table and a free chair. But my experience in Turkey left me with the unification of England and the nations that Turkey and the Ottoman Empire, especially, you know, Ataturk, brought in. And so I did this kind of Turner-esque painting. This one's sold to a QC in London. I can't give his name, but it's always nice to have a QC on your little collector's list. And this is the unification of nations. So it's the unification of Turkey and the UK together as a ship. And it's called Parting the Waves. And so that's another reason behind this kind of painting. Part of it has got masking tape on it and such forth. A little bit of a mixed media kind of thing, but really interesting. On to the next one. Always respect your mother. Well, most people, most cultures do. They gave birth to you, they brought you into the world. And it was Mother's Day, and a friend of mine who was our senior graphic designer, Paul Crowley, had taken some photos that I got, and it was of a fox in the woods, in the snow. And I loved it so much, I decided to do a painting and then add these, I don't know what they're called. Are they called cubs or? Add a comment below and enlighten me and tell me what a fox, mother fox, would call her little babies. But myself and my sister are there as little cubs, and mother's obviously shooing us along, and I painted that and gave it to my mum for Mother's Day, and she actually has it on her wall in the front as you go in the entrance. Another thing is my mother is Scottish, and she's very particular about what colours. She's a brilliant designer. Internal, just absolutely, that's where maybe I get it from. In fact, that's where I do get it from. And she commissioned, well, she didn't commission me. She said, David, I want you to do me a painting and I want these kind of colours. and she specifically wanted them for her living room or wherever it was. These were colours like aqua and red, and she goes, I want it abstract. And so I painted this, which is Mother's Sand Dunes. And it's kind of like based on my experience of living in Exmouth, and there were these sand dunes there in Exmouth, and my mother and would take me and my sister there and jump around the little sand dunes on the beach and everything like that. And it just implanted itself in my head. And they were out at the front. It just implanted itself in my head. And they were out at the front was what was called Mare Rocks, and at school we used to go down there and collect sea anemones and crabs, and we'd go there with our little nets and everything like that. And it's just like, and I have been offered a lot of money for it, and I refused it because it's for my mother. Should always keep to it. I painted this for my mother. My mother said to me, "Ugh, sell it, get the money." I'm like, no. This is me to you, and everything else is circumstantial. It doesn't matter. So the paintings that I've just actually shown you is just a small little snippet of my art. And if you're interested in a lot more, go to my website, davididdonart.com, or you can go to Saatchi and you can find me there. You can get all of it through my website, or through the YouTube comments section below. It says everything. Look forward to seeing more subscribers. Thank you to my current subscribers. Mwah. Love you all. See you on the next one.
Yeah, this show is good for what ails me.
Yeah? Well, what else you?
Insomnia.